Hello everyone, Woody here, thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. Yes, I am back running, just doing a bit of walk running. We'll talk about that on some of these walk breaks. Also going to go through that Gold Coast Marathon entry system that they used. And we'll have a look at some of the results from the Valencia Marathon, especially the elite Aussie runners. First, I've got to run. Oh guys, I am so unfit. Okay, so this is my second run back in a month. Ran yesterday afternoon. It's morning now, mid-morning, about 9 o'clock. The calf felt really good. No tightness or anything. Nothing there again this morning, so that's good. Got some stiffness in that bad knee, but that's just something I've come to expect. Oh, I'm so out of breath because, oh wow, fitness has pretty much disappeared. So all I'm doing, 8 by 2 minutes run, 1 minute walk. And that's all I'm going to do for most of this week. Just got to ease my way back into it. But even that is a bit of a test at the moment. Oh, I don't know how much talking I'm going to get with these rests. Gold Coast Marathon entry procedure. How did you go, guys? Before I give you my thoughts, let me know down in the comments your experience with entering the Gold Coast Marathon Festival 2026. Whew. Oh wow, it's going to be hard getting this fitness back. All right, first off the bat, I did get an entry for the Gold Coast Marathon, but man, it was far from simple, wasn't it? I've got to give kudos to the marathon, or the Gold Coast Marathon organisers, because they did try something a little bit different with the entry system this year, using, I think it's called Queue-It, where we're queued in line for being able to go progress into the entry page. I've got to run again, guys. You might remember back 12 months, oh man, sorry guys, there's a lot of frustration with entering for 2025, and the organisers looked at that, decided to use Queue-It for their entry platform. And while I guess the majority of you are going to be happy with that system, there's a lot who weren't. And the biggest thing that I found was for people who were waiting in line because you were placed in a queue and the hosting website dropped out. And what happened then, because they lost their place in the queue, when they got back on, they were at the back of the queue. So that wasn't great. And also heard of some people having issues with the entry page. It dropped out, same deal. They had to come back in at the end of the queue. So there was a lot of frustration from those people, and for many of them who sort of did progress in the queue to the entry stage and then had that happen, by the time they got back in and went to enter, the half marathon and the marathon particularly were sold out. So a lot of frustration, a lot of disappointment, a lot of upset runners, and that's understandable. While the first in best dressed scenario does seem to be the most fairest, what was happening with that website and the dropping out and all the other issues that came with it, it wasn't a fair system. And another issue I had with it as well is that I got on when entries opened here in Queensland, 9 o'clock, about 5 seconds past, I was 13,000 and some in the queue. After speaking to some of my running buddies, they hopped on the site 5-10 minutes earlier and they were ahead of me in the queue. So what had happened there was that by getting on earlier, they were automatically placed in the queue before it even opened at 9 o'clock. Very unfair. If you're going to open entries at 9, that's when it starts, not 5 or 10 minutes before. And another issue I had with the QIT, I can't talk now. Another issue I had with the QIT hosting page was the fact that you were basically hostage to that page, hostage to the screen that you were using, because if you didn't watch where you were progressing in the queue, if you missed out, tough shit, you had to go back to the end of the queue. So Tuesday morning, heaps and heaps of people at work. Some people were waiting for hours to get through to the front of the queue, and by that time they'd missed out. So I thought it was just really unfair that people were made to just watch the screen for hours for an entry. For me, I was 90 minutes, and fortunately for me, I don't have to work until the afternoon, so I could sit there and watch it. But people who couldn't, well, they missed out. Where's the fairness in that? Oh man, oh, that's all the running done. Haven't finished on the Gold Coast yet. Just let me get my breath. Whew. All right, so another thing that really pissed me off was some people who thought they had a privilege to gain an entry ahead of other people. Now, I'm not going to mention any names here, but there was one comment on a Facebook page which really stood out to me, and that was from a sub 80-minute runner in a half marathon. He was basically saying that because he'd run so quick for a half marathon, he deserved an entry, and he was mighty pissed off that he missed out. Hang on, I'll just fix my Strava, my Garmin, and there we go, all done for that run. I'll talk about that in a sec. Almost finished on the Gold Coast here. So yeah, like, mate, get over yourself. You know, nothing gives you the right more so than a 2 hour 20 half marathoner or a 3 hour 20 half marathoner to gain an entry. You know, this was what this system was designed for, first in, best dressed. Unfortunately, you missed out. That doesn't mean you need to have a whinge about it. There was a lot of other people in the same boat as you. So just get over yourself. Look, I'm disappointed for everyone who did miss out, and I hope that the Gold Coast Marathon organisers will have another look at this for next year, because I still don't think this is the fairest system that they can do. Now, I'm not a fan of ballots. I've had very limited success with ballots. I think I'm batting at about 2 out of 20, 25 when it comes to ballots. But I think, because I've been saying this for a long time on the channel, this running boom shows no signs of slowing down. More and more people are wanting to test themselves in events, and look, the fairest way is to have a ballot in these big events. Everybody gets a chance to enter over a period of time. You don't have to be tied to a screen for hours on end on one particular day. You've got 7, 10 days to enter, and then you just go into a pot, and it's the luck of the draw. You get a spot, whoopee days, happy days. If you miss out, well, that's the luck of the draw of a ballot. But at least everyone's had a fair opportunity to enter. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a fan of ballots, but it might be the best way to go for these big events in Australia. More and more events around the world are doing it, so maybe we need to follow suit here a little bit more in Australia. We already know that Sydney does it for their marathon because it's a world major, and Melbourne did it this year as well. Hopefully they'll have another look at it next year, because you want 100% fairness. You don't want people missing out because of web pages shutting down, freezing, or whatever it may be. But like I said at the start of this, kudos to the Gold Coast Marathon organisers for trying something different. I just think they've got a little bit more work to do on that. Getting back to the run now, that was so much harder than last night. Last night was a little bit cooler, obviously, because it was in the afternoon. It's 9 o'clock now, it's bloody hot. So this is what I've just got to put up with now for the next few months as I try to build some fitness, build a base. So I'm not going to whinge about the heat, it's just what it is. Just to go back over what I'm doing this week, 8 by 2 minutes run, 1 minute walk. Last night, a 6:01 average, including the walks. Today was a 6:19 per kilometre average. So the main thing is that the calf is feeling good. The knee is the knee. And we just keep moving forward and try and build a little bit of a base. But the most pleasing thing is the body feels good. Although, I'll tell you what, my fitness, you wouldn't think that you could lose so much fitness in such a short amount of time, but I have been very sedentary. I don't know if that's the word or not anyway, but I haven't done a lot of activity over the past month. So, like I said, I think in a recent video, I've really stacked on the kegs. I'm sitting around about 79 kilos, so I'm lumping around probably 5 or 6 kilos more than what I'm used to. So that's going to take a little while to shift. But we just keep pushing forward. Not sure how many times I will run this week. I might actually not run tomorrow, so I'll have 2 days, have a rest day, and I might sort of continue that theme for a while, 2 days on, 1 day off, and try and get back to Park Run this week. Haven't been to Park Run since we were in Melbourne. That's that is 2 months ago. So that's where I'm at. I'm back running. The calf feels good. That swelling in the Achilles, every now and then it pops up. God, I'm having real trouble, guys. Every now and then it puffs up. Didn't puff up yesterday after my run, and it wasn't puffy this morning, so that's positive as well. Okay, so the plan going forward from here will be to just extend the running components of this run walk for a while. I won't increase it for a little while yet. Probably stay at 2 minutes for maybe a week or two, and then I'll start to increase the running component. And then as those running sections get longer, I'll then lower the walk components. So then the end result will be that I'll be running non-stop. The thing that I am most wary of is not to bash the body up for the next sort of 2 or 3 months through this hot period, as I'm trying to get a bit of the fitness back, build a bit of a base so that next year I can launch into running the Gold Coast Marathon and then backing up into the Sydney Marathon. Alright guys, let's talk about the Valencia Marathon. And if you watched my preview to the Valencia Marathon for the Aussie elite runners, I did say that Valencia is one of the fastest courses in the world for a marathon, and the winners certainly didn't let me down. 2:02 for the men, 2:14 for the women. Fantastic races. But the big news for Australia is that one of those national records did go. Wasn't who I thought it would be. My tips for the Valencia Marathon, they ran true to my horse racing tips. So I had tipped Batt-Doyle to be the first woman home for Australia and a new Australian record, but that honour went to Jess Stenson, who ran an incredible 2 hours 21:24 to break Sinead Diver's national record by 10 seconds, I think it was in the end. The early hours after the marathon, that time came through as 2:21:25 for Jess, but I believe it's been amended to 2:21:24, so fantastic run from Jess. Breaking down her 5 kilometre splits through the whole marathon, there was just an 11-second variation between her fastest and slowest, so that's brilliant pacing. And you know, she went fast at Tokyo earlier in the year, and now she's gone fast at Valencia. Batt-Doyle was the second Aussie to finish, 2:23:35. Fantastic run from Izzy as well, and it was right up there, not quite a PB, but right up there with her PB. And Jen Gregson, 5 months after having her second baby, 2:28 and change. So that's, you know, 3 fantastic runs from the Aussie women. So congratulations to them. Yeah, I guess really, if you want to run a national record in the marathon, Valencia is the place to go because Andy Buchanan ran that 2:06 there at Valencia last year. Now on the men's side of things, my tip was have to Strinsos, and I did say that had said in the lead up that he was going to go after the national record, and he certainly did. Went through halfway in just under 63:30, but by the time he got to 30k in 90 minutes, had a few issues and came home in 2 hours 26. So 56 minutes for that last 12k sort of shows probably the hurt lock of it have to was in, but he'll bounce back, I'm sure. The first Aussie home was actually Tom DeCanto. Now, he ran a PB there, missed out on that 2:10. He ran 2:11.40 something, I think it was. I'll put it up here on screen. Fantastic run from Tom as well, backing up after that great effort at Sydney just a few months ago. Tom went through pretty much even splits. I think he might have even been marginally faster or might have been just marginally slower coming back in the second half. So he ran incredibly even splits. The second Aussie home was a bit of a surprise packet, and that was Kieran Perkins from here in Brisbane. He ran 2:19.59, I think it was. He certainly attacked it as well. He went through, I think, in about 68.5 halfway. Oh, I'm sorry. Kieran wasn't the second Aussie home. Apologies to Ryan Gregson. He was the second Aussie home. He ran 2:17 and some change. Brett Robinson, who I also mentioned in the preview, unfortunately had a DNF. So, you know, those little issues for Brett are still lingering. So hopefully he can work those out because he's a great runner, and hopefully he can bounce back and have a good marathon at some point. And just a couple of side notes from Valencia, not about Australian runners, but I believe the Japanese marathon record was broken as well. And also Alex Yee, the Olympic triathlon champion from 2024 in Paris. He ran an incredible 2:06 and change, just his second marathon. I think he ran 2:11 and something at London earlier in the year. So that's an incredible run from Alex. And I guess now that he's the second fastest ever marathon runner in the UK behind Sir Mo Farah, he's going to have a decision to make come 2028 and the LA Olympic Games. Does he defend his triathlon title, or does he line up in the marathon for Great Britain? That'll be an interesting storyline to follow over the next probably 18 months to see which way he goes. But an incredible talent, Alex Yee. Judging by that rate of improvement in his marathon, he's got probably more to come. So he's probably even now thinking about going after Sir Mo's UK marathon record. All right, guys, that's it for this video. That's a bit of a look at Valencia. That's a bit of a look at the Gold Coast entry system, and a bit of a look at me getting back into running. Thanks for watching this video. Take care, and I will catch you sometime soon.